Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. I am ready for an Oh My Stars parade of quilts. So nice. There are so many of you that shared your Oh My Stars. You made another one, or maybe you shared one from before. So get your drink. Let's go and do that first. So let it roll. We will start out with Melody from Alaska. She goes by Alaska Melody in our Facebook group. Look at this red, white, and blue. I love how that turned out. It is awesome. And then here it is on a tractor. Now, Barbara did hers with granddaughter's clothing. Isn't that cute? What a fantastic idea. It's got all the little fussy cutting of the items. So darling. Kathy's has this wonderful setting with the white. She did the white in the same spot around all the stars. And then she has this great big bold stripe in there. That's just great. It all turned out really awesome. Debbie has a red, white, and blue theme going on. I love how the yellow stars look in there. Here's Debbie's with a lot of stripes. And then she also did color blocking. You can see it's got like a vertical where the stripes are the same color across that vertical line. And then the green stars just pop. Elise has another Americana feel to it. Look at the petunias. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? It might be a Supertunia, right? Supertunia Vista, for those of you who are proven winners, flowers people. So Jean has this beautiful soft pastels, pink, pale green, that beautiful sort of turquoisey blue. Julie's is a Halloween. I love the green pop. That just looks so good with all the Halloween and the purples. Karen's is the coffee shop fabric, some coffee fabric, plus she used a stripe for the stars, which is fantastic. Now I want to do that. That just really is cool. Lori's is so sweet, and it's quilted binding done. So cute. Beautiful fabric. Martha's is a Americana, another one where there's color blocking so that each horizontal is the same fabric. That is really good. I have not done that with mine, so something to try for the next one. Nancy's is beautiful. I like looks like a dogwood fabric in there. It's so pretty. And another one that's all finished, binding on it. Nicole's has this rooster fabric. Look at this rooster fabric. She took, after she did the center part, then she had this great strip, rooster strip, and then another one around that. So, oh, that's so awesome. I love it. Robin's is beautiful. It looks like some baby fabric, so it's little rainbows and little smiley suns. So gorgeous with orange stars. Ruth's is tied. These are old jeans. Isn't that great? Look what you can do with old jeans. And then look at that's her binding on there. I love that binding. This is such a great idea. So good. Shell did an I Spy. So there's actually two, like you can see it with the football. Do you see the football one? There's two of them. So there's two of each, and then you can, match them up. That's such a good idea. Sherry's, well, she's got, I didn't write a note down, but there's faces in each of the stars. I don't remember who they are, but this is a quilt, and it's also my fabric line. So, that's so fun to see. Thank you for using my fabric. Terry's has a beautiful Christmas red and green, and then the white stars just popping off of there. And then because she did the white stars, she went ahead and put another border on the outside of the same white, which looks great. Vicky's is a whole bunch of happy fabric with that parrot being sort of the kickoff of the colors, all those bright oranges and purples and reds. It is great. So the next one is Anna's. And this is another Halloween one where you have been just knocking it out of the park. She centered the jack-o'-lanterns inside the stars, and the white really worked well here. There's a lot of white in those fabrics of this Halloween lines, so that just pulled them right out. And then she did two borders. So she didn't have the star floating to the outside. So she just made some adjustments, moved the stars in. But this is just awesome. And I also see binding. Yay for you, binding on there. Nancy's has got the minions. Oh my goodness, this made me giggle. Look at the border. That's their eyeballs. And then a bunch of different minions in there. Just super cute. Amy's is gorgeous with these, looks like fairly large scale prints, some of those. On that blue and green is a great combination. Once again, a bunch of extra borders, which is super effective. Pulling the white of the stars out for that inner border makes it really a beautiful framing. Angela's got a baby quilt. Look at the striped binding. Another one all finished in the baby fabrics, so darling. Anita's is pink, pink, everything pink. Super cute. Love the pink and black. Barbara's is this gorgeous soft pastels, and she just used 2 different fabrics and then the pink stars. So here's a way, if you have just some yardage that you love, two different fabrics, all you have to do is make the squares out of that. So it has a checkerboard effect, and it looks fantastic. It's so fun to see different ways you can use the same quilt. And Beth has got like wildlife, there's animals, and she put white all around each star. So that's another way that you could handle it when you have a lot of prints, if you really want the stars to float. So that's a really, really effective thing to see. Beth's is another one with just 2 fabrics, the sports fabric, which I'm not a good sports fan. It's a South Carolina, I can read on there. So all of you should know they're in South Carolina, but it looks great. Bonnie's is another sort of Americana with the blues and the tans, and then red stars, got red stars. Darlene's is this awesome sort of variegated purples, and they just look great. And they got a sparkly stars on them. So Donna's is, oh, I like this. It's got some animal prints in there. There's elephants and bears. Such a happy quilt. And I like that extra little border around the outside. Jean, she did a bigger version, and also the Americana fabric all done. I see the binding on there. I love those big stars. There's a place to use some of those big prints that you have. And we'll do one more for today. Jean is with another Halloween fabric. Look how cute that is with all of the Halloween prints, and that green just pops right off of there. Thank you, everybody. I really, really appreciate all of you that share your quilts. It is so fun to see the variations and the color combinations. It's super inspiring. So anytime that we have a quilt show here, if you can jump in and join it, that's all the better. You know, we just had one with scrap quilts, and there was such a huge variety. So much fun to look at. All right, what else is going on today? We have Secret Lives of Color, number 61. But first, it's Star Trek Day. Yes, are you a Trekkie? Are you a Trekkie? If you are, have you made a Trekkie quilt, a Star Trek quilt? It would be really awesome to see one of those if you have it. I have not made a Star Trek quilt. I like Star Trek. I don't think I've watched it recently. I can't tell you, like all the stuff about it, but I do like it. So now this makes me think like I need to go online and find some Star Trek to watch today, at least for today, right? So tonight when I'm sewing, I think that's what I'll do. Okay, so block 61, Secret Lives of Color. We are on this, which is buff. Okay, so the color buff, I think I got pretty close with mine. I think mine's a pretty good match there. So buff, when you hear that word, a lot of times now, the sort of more current use of that word is to mean somebody that doesn't have any clothes on. They're in the buff. Yeah. So that's like they're naked. So that, that's sort of, how the word is used. But that is not how it started out at all. It was it was a term for leather that was sort of smoothed out or whatever, and became kind of this color, this buff color. And they used that leather for uniforms for the military. And that was a very common color for a lot of military uniforms, this buff color. But what I love is George Washington. Let me just read you this part. As a savvy politician, he knew, this is George, a change of political allegiance necessitated a change of colors. When representatives from the fledgling United States met at the Second Continental Congress in the summer of 1775, Washington was wearing a new uniform. It was buff and blue. And that is the colors of the homegrown Fairfax Independent Company of Volunteers. I live in Fairfax. I live in Fairfax, Virginia. That is where George Washington's troops were. That was the troops that he was associated with, were right here where I live. We are deep, deep in the Civil War stuff if you've come to this part of the country. So he asked for the uniforms of his personal crew, like, you know, he had a true, whatever you call it in the military, but his, you know, his corporals, his sergeants, his personal group that he had, that could they get them also in the blue and buff of the uniform that he was wearing. So I found that super fascinating. It's a piece of history. So here is my block. Very not military looking. But I like it. I got this little butterfly fabric. I don't have a lot more of that fabric left. That's one of Amy Sinibaldi's fabrics from Art Gallery. It's so, so pretty. I love it. So I have a little bit of it left, and it's now going to be in this quilt, which I'm loving. And I have this first section of row 5. So we're on the last row. This is the first section, and it's all sewn up. Yes, I have a couple of little videos. Let me just take this down because the swim team behind here, I'm making some progress on decisions on it, and I did a few little videos to sort of walk through where I am with that. So let's just look at that series now. There, I've put the center square, and having it cut, it just looks amazing. That's perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, I tried the same fabric out here, and it's just way too much. So the aqua, but my problem with the aqua is I only have some strips. There is one that's wider, this one, but it's not wide enough to do the 12.5-inch block, or like I like to oversize it a little bit, like a 13-inch block. And then cut it in half for all the edges. So I'm going to have to do it a little bit differently, and I'll show you over on the table. This is the widest strip of that aqua, and it's not enough to do the square, but I can do a half square. I can do a triangle, like basically half of the square, and just rotate it along and cut them, which also puts my straight grain on the outside, which is nice, so it doesn't have I don't have to be quite as delicate with it. Now, you know, it is on bias for the other part, but that's fine. So I cut one of them. I just basically took the square and folded it, and so now I have a template, and so I can go along like this and cut the next one out. You know, just follow along like here on the line, and then cut. See, it's a little bit even longer than my ruler because this is wider. There we go. So, and I'm going to trim them up afterwards. So I will just trim this nicely. But wait a second, let me just show you the whole thing. Yeah. So I will trim this up, and I will just go ahead and do all with it 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8 of these, and then there's 4 corner units, and I have plenty of this to get all of that done. And at that point, then I can decide, I'll do a little inner border of something. I was thinking of red, but I don't know. I might not go that way. I might just do the blue polka dot and then do the some of the swim team fabric around on the outside. So I was working on this and just thought you might like to see how you can make things work. If you don't have something like, I don't need to go and buy more aqua. There is a way to do this. It just is not cutting a square, it's cutting a triangle. So good. I'm so excited to have gotten this out of the box. So here it is. I have one laid out on top of this, you know, strip, and then I can cut. Just cut. And because I'm making them a little bit oversized, and I will trim them down, you know, I don't have to be too fussy. It's not quite as much like a puzzle at this point. And then go across. Like on this straight of grain here, these outer edges are nice straight of grain, so you don't see a lot of pulling, whereas these are on bias. Do you see how much they stretch? Whereas the straight of grain is pretty. I think it's even length of fabric, so that means it's really tight. There it is with a mock-up of the blue framing. And so the blue will actually, you know, touch everything. It'll be even. It looks wonky right now. It's just a mock-up. I've just got them pinned on there. But you get that nice frame around it, which is really nice. I like that. But I want to try it with the light and then the blue so that it floats a little bit more. And here it is with the lighter around it. Let me just come in here. What I did is I had a long strip of that and just pinned it into place, and then put the 4 blue strips inside of it. This block would end up being 8-inch finished, and these would be each 1 inch. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for the 12.5-inch block, which would be square. Not a little wonky like that is. So that lets it float a little differently. It gives that extra separation around it so that the blue is not touching right on all of the blue points. That's the one I'm leaning towards. I think I'm going to go for that. So the middle is now key for me. Do I go ahead and frame it? Do I double frame it, single frame it, or just leave it? Leaving it is totally fine. I'm leaning towards a double frame just because I liked the effect of it. I liked having the blue float rather than touching the edges. No, it just sort of appealed to me. So I think that's where I'm going to go with it, and I will show you, of course, when I get there. Let's do a mail call because I have a few things. We didn't have any mail the one day, and I'd already taped for a different day. So anyway, this is from Cindy in Texas, and I have to show you this card because the card is from Colonial Williamsburg. We're like all Virginia today. Colonial Williamsburg, but she's from Texas, and she sent me some aqua squares and some selvages. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, this is from Kathy in New Jersey, and she sent this really pretty card. Look at that. Look how gorgeous that is. And she found an article about a show. And she sent me a copy of it. It is at lakegeorgearts.org. So they're doing a show that's starting September 28th and running for a month into the end of October at lakegeorgearts.org. So if you're up in that area, which I believe it's in the Adirondacks, so you can do that. Oh, and then she sent me a yummy Starbucks card. Mwah, thank you. I love those pumpkins. Pumpkin spice is out now, and I have to wait till it gets cooler to drink it because, I like it only like that warm. I do not care for it as much when it's cold. Okay. Too much information. Okay, let's go on. I'm sure I have more. Here's Marcia card. Beautiful card from Marcia. Marcia is in Canada, and she collected up some salvages for me. So thank you so much. Mwah. Remember, we're starting that quilt. Once that quilt starts, I'm hoping I can see how much I can use up. I appreciate all these salvages that you've sent. They're wonderful. Janice in New York sent me a fun thing to try. So this is the card. Look how cute that is. Look at that. So adorable. That sheep face. Oh, cute. But what she said, she's having trouble seeing. She did have some, I don't know if she said, I can't read here quickly, but if she had some surgery or she has some adjustments to her eyes, so that made it a little bit better, but she's having trouble seeing. And so she sent me along one of these trimmers, which I have not ever used. So she sent me along, she's so sweet, sent me along the strip so that I can try it out right away. I've got to put it together. There's a battery and everything. But these little trimmers, and I have heard a lot of you use these, but you use them as a seam ripper. So instead of the other kind, you basically, I think, are pulling the fabric aside. One of these she started. Hold on. Yeah. So you sort of pull the fabric aside like this, and then I think that little, as you're holding it like this, you put the little seam ripper, this electric one, trimmer, down right here in where the threads are, and then it just cuts them. So she did send me a picture. There, it's perfect, right? Oh, thank you so much, Janice, for thinking of me, and I am going to try it for sure. Okay, one last thing is, I don't know if you're familiar with Lizzie House, but she sent me a surprise. Oh my goodness, she is a designer, and right now she's doing paper crafts, and her mom has also designed things in the past, quilts, and so she sent me this cute package. I haven't opened it yet, so we're going to open it together. Look at these. See, she draws all these, so she's an artist extraordinaire, but she says she's doing stationery now. So how cute is that? So we're going to look in here. We're going to see what Lizzie sent. I have some of her coveted, if you have the pearl bracelet fabric from Andover, I believe, that was Lizzie's fabric. Look at this. Look, 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 look. How sweet is that? All the little faces. And the strawberry stick looks like it's a big sticker. Look at these stickers. Aren't they sweet? And she does all of these. Look, beautiful stationery. And then another, a sun catcher. Oh, isn't that pretty? So you put it on your window. I'm going to put that on my window over by my desk. That'll be so cute. So these are by Lizzie House, and I will link you down below in the description box over to her store, so that if you love these, you can get them too. All right, my friend, you are going to be in the buff today. Well, you know, fabric, buff fabric. Here we go. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.